Char, Char. Where is Char, Char? Char, Char. Where is Char, Char? Char, Char. You're listening to the Char, Char. Char, Char, Char.
The Lost Boys of Toronto. Or are they? Some people are known to pledge allegiance to a higher power, but some are known to pledge to the most notorious gang member. As of today, there are over 400 gangs in Canada. The question is why? Could it be the family structure, environment, or the rite of passage? It has been said that those who join gangs lack a traditional nuclear family structure or that they live in poor inner cities. There could be another aspect to explore. For centuries across the world, young boys would go through a rite of passage rituals, whether it be killing wild animals for the first time or a boy's bar mitzvah to prove and confirm a boy's manhood. Could this be the 21st century version of proving you're a man in all the wrong ways? By having a sense of power of toting a gun or selling drugs just to have money in their pocket. It all comes with a very costly price. Respect, loyalty, and honor are crucial in this lifestyle, but the means to gain it is destructive. The formation of gangs seems to fill an existing void in these boys' lives by providing false sense of friendship and family, but instead exposes them to harsh realities of crime, drugs, jail, and death. Is this the only way to live for these boys? It may seem like the way to a better future in their eyes. The money and the cars. Gang members. On June 2nd, 2012, the gang lifestyle spilled onto the downtown streets of Toronto at the Eaton Centre, where a personal dispute between gang members led to a multitude of injuries and 2 fatalities. The accused father stated, My son was good coming up, but the gang changed everything. These gang members are seen as only criminals that destroy communities. But who are they really, and what could they become? Are they just lost souls looking for acceptance and trying to find ways to a better life? If given the opportunities and role models, would these same boys be able to become doctors, lawyers, or entrepreneurs that Canada desperately needs? Yes, absolutely. But how? It would require those who were faced with the same circumstances but chose a different path to return to their communities and get involved. For those who are willing to encourage and inspire young people such as ex-gang members, teachers, working professionals, and entrepreneurs to empower them with the knowledge that there are other ways to gain power and money. Why do gangs represent their territories, colors, or gang names? The same way men would go to war for England or Scotland. It's called a war of survival. They want to obtain the so-called American dream in Canada. But did they become so lost representing and the family they love are being destroyed with everything they are doing? By any means necessary doesn't apply to this lifestyle. There's so many ways to reach that dream. How they must so-called fight the streets, they must now fight their way into the boardroom, fight their way into the government, and especially fight for an education, which, like it or not, will set them apart to do more in life. Thousands of able-bodied people are being lost due to this diseased lifestyle. The authorities unfortunately aren't fully trusted by the communities they are there to protect. Various organizations, such as the Jane and Finch Community Center and the Jane and Finch Coalition Against Poverty, were created to help the community come together to combat these issues by providing various workshops and counseling for these youth. Are these adults and children in this gang's lifestyle aware of the government and nonprofit organizations that have the funds to get them out or the opportunities to work and get an education overseas? Why are they so angry? It's just like how in society today we can now see the most disturbing images in the media and not be affected by it. We are all desensitized to the violence. See if, with violence all around you for years, if you still feel certain emotions towards these acts. Over time, these emotions hurt, so therefore they are then shut off. Please know, excuses are not being made here, just a different perspective and encouragement that with people involved, there could be fewer victims and more victors. There is more to their lives than just surviving. These gang members have value and purpose. It's about time they acknowledge that amongst themselves. To know more, go to www.gangstyle.com or call Jane and Finch Community Center at 416-663-2733. I sat down with a young man who is striving to be a positive role model for these youth. Here is what he had to say.
My name is Rodney Harding, youth outreach worker here at the Spot. The Spot is a youth satellite of the Jane Finch Community and Family Center. Pretty much what we do within the space, we offer programs, different services for youth. We offer a young man's group that I run every Thursday at 5 to 6:30 p.m. Pretty much that program involves life skills, teaching youth how to cook, for example, teaching youth how to about dating tips, a lot of the issues, hygiene, how to actually develop and build different resources. Uh, as a youth outreach worker within the space, I do a lot of referrals to youth, so they would come into the space via word of mouth or referral or whatever it may be. And if they require service such as income support, for example, right now it's busy with jobs, so a lot of youth coming in wanting assistance with employment.
Now, is there any gang related workshops that you offer to help gentlemen get out of the gang and rehabilitate them at all?
Okay, not we don't really have any gang exit programs within the Spot. As I said, I do a lot of referrals. JVS, they offer a PIT program, which is an exit strategy for youth that are involved with gangs, right? So I'm not sure. I believe PIT no longer exists. That's one of the programs that I have referred youth to in the past.
Okay. And as I explained before, my approach is to look at the mentality of why these men join the gang. And um, as I stated, that it could be they want to represent their neighborhood and they are big on respect and honor of themselves. And that's why it's just an outlet for them to express that, even though it may not be the right way.
Completely understand where you're coming from. Based on my experiences working with youth, as I said, youth that's been involved with gang activities, uh, they have different reasons, as I said, such as they feel that they have to fit in, to really fit in, pretty much, right? A lot of times, I work with a lot of newcomers as well. I've heard stories and personal reasons as to why they're involved with a particular group of guys. They feel the need that they have to fit in. They're in a new environment. They don't really know what to do, what to expect. So just to fit in, they would go towards gravitate towards a particular type of group. So just to fit in is one of the reasons. Also, too, in the past, youth feel that they have to take a side, for example, right? Um, they may be good, they may be bad. A lot of times they feel that, hey, you know what? These are my friends, and I have to really represent this side, right? And that's also another reasons as to why I believe youth join gangs, right? Also, um, it's a form of protection as well, right? Within the schools, uh, after school programs in the community, a lot of the youth, if they have friends that really, would really back them up on certain things, you know, if they don't have bus tickets or clean clothes or something to eat, then they gravitate towards youth that will provide those resources for them, right? So that's also uh, one one additional reason that I've come across. Uh, and a lot of another reason I would say too is the labeling thing, right? A lot of times, the youth within this community are labeled as gang members because they associate with three or four of their friends, wearing baggy clothing or whatever it may be, or people just automatically assume that, hey, these guys are gang members, right? So they take up that mentality and say, hey, yeah, you guys are gonna blame us as being gang members, so we may as exactly we may as well act the part.
The history of gang life in this community.
The issues that bring youth to partake in gangs has always historically been poverty, low socioeconomic status. As I mentioned before, youth trying to fit in with their peer groups, and the positive side of this, I'm trying to find different resources to help these youth that are involved, right?
Problem. What signs can the parents look for if their child may be involved in gang activity?
Pretty much, communication is really key with parents and youth, right? So I would say signs that youth may be partaking in deviant behavior, whatever it may be, gangs, whatever it may be, is that not not having open communication with family, being uh, distant from the household, being aggressive, uh, anger issues, right? A lot of the times, these youth that do join gangs or that are involved with gangs, they have serious underlying anger issues, where it goes back to the core of finding resources, funding from the government, from the school, whoever, all the stakeholders within the community, to actually address these issues, right? A lot of these guys have, as I said, anger issues, and those need to be addressed, right? So being aware of your youth friends, their peer groups who they hang around with, uh, and activities when they're home. Are they always in their rooms by themselves, or you try to, and even if they are in their rooms by themselves, as parents we need to go out and find out, okay, engage these youth and find out, hey, like, what's up, do you have any issues that we can tackle, do you want to talk about this, just building positive relationship with your family, right? With the community.
Great, great. For the future, where do you see gang life heading, or the status of gang violence in Canada? Where do you see it heading in the near future with these programs and what you offer? Where do you see it in the future?
I think as of recent, the the word gang and gang activities and youth gangs, it's been gaining a lot of attention recently, right? So by you coming out, doing this interview, raising awareness, finding different resources to assist these youth that are involved. The more funding that we get, the more resources that are out there to address these issues from the beginning. So from having after school programs from the youth is young, right? So from they're in grade 4 and grade 5, they're in after school programs. They're in positive spaces like such as the one that we offer here in the space, right? Here at the spot, sorry. And yeah, just working together with the community, with the youth and the stakeholders to really draw the community together, right? But I think that the attention that it's getting as of recent is positive because it's going to generate more talk around the community, around the country, and eventually there'll be more resources to assist these youth that are involved.
Now, is there anything you would like to add about?
Just that we shouldn't judge youth. When you see them on the streets, a lot of times, first of all, the word gang is there isn't a specific definition of the word that I know of, right? To just not make judgments, not assume that youth are a part of gangs, but instead, approach. Well, I wouldn't say approach them because you don't know them, but try to find, trying to put positive spin on the whole gangs and youth gang initiative. Also to find out what your youth are doing, be more engage these youth in conversation, in positive conversation, creating, as I said, different resources. A lot of these youth, they hang around, for example, their community because they don't have a space like the spot to come to, right? So they gravitate towards a negative peer group, right? That's one issue that I want a lot of people to know, that creating different creating and sustaining these resources to help these youth.
Okay, great. When you go into the streets and speak to these youth that may be in gangs or just the youth in the neighborhood, what exactly do you help them with? What do you do with these children?
Okay, so pretty much I work with youth within the Jane Finch community. As a youth outreach worker, I go out to try to reach out to those so-called hard to reach youth. So the youth that are not engaged with after school programs, for example, or are not in school or out of a job, homeless youth, newcomer youth. I let them know what resources that are out there and available to them.
I have that in mind. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so I let them know what resources are available to them, right? So, for example, I go to Jane Finch Mall. I meet Johnny. Approach Johnny, say hello, develop a relationship with him, and he tells me if he has any issues, any immediate issues that he needs assistance with. So, for example, he says, "Hey, man, you know what? Currently, I don't have any place to sleep. I'm sleeping with I'm couch surfing. I don't have anything to eat tonight. So what I would do, I would, give Johnny my contact and address those issues. So, for example, with housing, there's a housing list that we get through the center, through the Jane Finch Community Family Center, and that's one resource there. There's also emergency shelters that I could refer Johnny to, or we also have an emergency fund within the center that we offer people, families, and youth specifically, $40, a one-time $40 voucher. So, for example, they need to get food to eat for that night, right? We would give them that $40, follow up with them, and make sure they're equipped with steps to take after that money is completed. So, for example, we'll refer them to the food bank, the local food banks. We also have a food bank within the spot that we pack bags, grocery bags for the youth. Also to a lot of things. So I work with youth that are also involved with the justice system. youth that are on probation, youth that are looking for services such as lawyers, uh, just pretty much any resource that you need. I never say no to any youth, and I go out of my way to make sure that they're being heard and that their concerns are followed up with.
Great. Well, thank you for the time. Sha where is Sasha? Where is Sasha? Sasha, you're listening to the Sasha. Sha, sha, sha.